when the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, broke the news that a Ghanaian had supposedly transferred almost 40 million Ghana cedis or state funds into his private endeavors in March this year, 2025, a lot of eyebrows were raised, and many seem to have expressed concern about how an individual would transfer such a huge amount of money meant for a state institution into his private business. That was in March 2025, and Ghanaians have followed the case since. There is a man who has led the accused in the midst of the allegations. His name is Samuel Atta Akyea, a renowned lawyer and a man who has also been in Parliament since 2008 on the ticket of the opposition NPP, has worked even as a private lawyer before joining politics later in his career. Today, like I just told you, we are here to have a conversation with him, not just on the case, but also a bit about what's happening in the country. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, sir. We're grateful that you agreed to have this conversation with us.
My pleasure, as always.
And like I did say, this case has been on since the Attorney General broke that news in that press conference, I believe on the 24th of March, 2025. And your client was arrested, that was what the AG told us, was arrested at the Kotoka International Airport following allegations of financial malfeasance as a former director general of the National Signals Bureau. Yes. You must be shocked that one person will be accused of such huge sums of money.
Well, in the first place, that was an aberration that the Attorney General decided to pronounce a man guilty in the media space before starting the prosecution. We've had several Attorney Generals, including Everyman, Joe Randolph, and even some of the NDC female Attorney General. We have had all of them. You see, because immediately you use the press, then you want to taint the person before you start the prosecution. So the question is, if you destroy a family in the press, that they are thieves, they've stolen so much money, they should come for plea bargaining, only to be acquitted and discharged by a court of competent jurisdiction. How do you repair the damage? So this reset way of NDC is not consistent with the Constitution.
The Attorney General didn't think that he was painting the accused black. He thought that he was informing Ghanaians because of the amount involved.
Maybe you've not paid attention to that press conference. It was a horrible spectacle of our criminal jurisprudence. He said they are people who are going to go to jail and they better come for plea bargaining. I wish you pay attention to all that he said.
I remember he said all of that.
Yeah, he said all that because then at that point in time it was the court and the prosecutor in a public space where they've packed their own people to deal with the matter. Because I didn't hear one journalist being bold enough. Attorney General, you are wayward. This is the first time we are seeing you, an Attorney General doing this. What is the presumption of innocence as enshrined in the Constitution? Every man, for that matter, woman, is presumed innocent until proven otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction, or in the media space.
We've had a journalist asking that question in one of his press conferences, and he answering that, like I just told you, that it wasn't to prosecute the person in the public.
But when you say somebody, you have condemnable evidence against another person, and in fact, it will be in his best interest to come and plead bargain. What are you saying? You are guilty by my standards, not by the standards of the court of competent jurisdiction. And do you know who is speaking? The Attorney General, the Article 88 creature in the Constitution, the one supposed to administer justice and fair play. So that was very distasteful. And now we are in the court. But let me tell you one of the things which happened also. The theatrics did not start with the Attorney General. Can you imagine that a security capo of the realm called Ghana comes to Ghana through Kotoka International Airport, not through the bush, and he's supposed to be prosecuted or investigated? And then when he's in the airport, they put a handcuff on his hand like a common criminal. All that I've come to know is that when you say you are investigating somebody. A phone call, oh, yes. Kwabena Adu-Boahene, Yoko would want you to come over tomorrow for us to start an investigation. You may come with your lawyer, and the time scheduled you for the interrogation is 1 p.m.
We'll go into that as regards why the Attorney General, based on the Attorney General's own words, why he chose to use that avenue. Well, he was arrested by Yoko at the Kotoka International Airport. But back to my question about whether or not the revelation from the Attorney General shocked you as a person that an individual would have as much as that amount of money transferred into his private account.
But it's all bogus. I have to tell you that if you pay regard to what they were trying to say, they didn't even understand why the account was open. There's a clear indication that the money was coming from the operational account of the national security, and they wanted to do operations via accounts they opened. So you could see a letter originating from the then national security and the coordinator, chairman, to Advantage Solutions, that they should open the account so that they do what they do.
So the point was, and the contract was with an Israeli company, why not transfer directly from the National Signals Bureau account into that account? And again, the allegation is that instead of the 49 million Ghana cedis, your client transferred just 1 point something, and the rest they couldn't trace it. It was rather transferred into his private account. That was the basis.
You see, do you know who should come and interpret this? Kan-Dapaah. So when you sit down there and you are wise after the event, this is what you think you should do. But do you know what they were trying to do with the operational account? Have you heard anywhere in the world that people will discuss operational accounts of national security? Are you not going to educate the national security? Why didn't you go X or Y? What kind of indiscretion is that?
I'm sure you want to ensure that your client gets a favorable ruling, as it were, or judgment from the court. Have you spoken to the former National Security Minister, Kan-Dapaah, yourself?
I have. Why not? He's a very critical individual in the matter.
And he has explained to you why your client did what he did?
Yes.
And you think that is justifiable?
Why not justifiable? Right now, who should be the complainant? Is it not Kan-Dapaah who should say that Adu-Boahene was a rogue, security operative, and while I was there, he was stealing money. And now you come in there, you want to do your final post-mortem, as if you want to second-guess Kan-Dapaah.
But won't that implicate him? Because if you look at the National Signals Bureau, it works with the National Security Council.
Look, can you divorce the Signal Bureau from the Minister for National Security? Can you divorce that office? Do you know the one who superintends over all the affairs of national security? He's a minister. This is just, excuse me to say, an appendage of the system. So you think the minister is deprived of power to superintend Kwabena Adu-Boahene?
Let me get you correctly. Are you directly saying that if Adu-Boahene is being tried, perhaps Kan-Dapaah should also be interrogated in the midst of this because everything was done in conjunction with his office?
You see, don't you think the investigation is sitting upside down, that you wouldn't want to call Kan-Dapaah first? In fact, the first prosecution witness, if this is a crime, should be Kan-Dapaah.
How do you know the Attorney General doesn't have it in its pocket, as it were, to call Kan-Dapaah?
But the trial is on. They've said they have filled in 3 witnesses. We know the witnesses. Kan-Dapaah is not one of them.
You talked about, and so you're challenging the Attorney General to call Kan-Dapaah if indeed he wants to have a proper case. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I wouldn't want to tell you the tactics I'll use. But whoever should exonerate Kwabena Adu-Boahene, I'll call to come and exonerate him, if we come to that point.
You talked about the fact that the approach the Attorney General used in arresting your client, you describe him as a senior national security capo. That's what you said.
That is who he is.
And he shouldn't have been arrested at the Kotoka International Airport like he did. Let me read to you a bit of what the Attorney General said in that press conference. He said that your client seemed to throw dust into the eyes of investigators by buying tickets to UK and then to Dubai, and suspecting surveillance a stop order was placed, leading to him being arrested. How do you interpret that?
Does it make sense to you that a man is playing with tickets to avoid arrest? Then he comes into the Ghanaian space. I mean, that's an absurdity. The man who is trying to run away from justice comes into a place where he can be arrested.
The interpretation is that I've traveled, and so your attention will not be on the fact that I'm even back in the country.
But why did he come to Kotoka International Airport? Preposterous. Why did he? The man who is hiding his travel itinerary from the investigators of this realm now comes to Kotoka International Airport, not via a canoe, but an aeroplane.
You're not worried about the allegation by the Attorney General that your client tried to swindle authorities by, confusing his whereabouts?
He is rather probably confused. But I don't see any sane man who is being chased by national security or security forces, and then all that he does is to come into the space where he can be arrested. You understand the people who are trying to run away from justice? They don't show up. They are in foreign climes. Who will buy a ticket that, oh, I'm coming to be arrested? Let's be real. These are the kind of things that if you can, you get your own, choreographed press conference, so journalists will not critique the rationality of what we are saying. It will pass.
I know we are not talking about the former finance minister, but I don't know, when you mentioned the bit that those who are trying to run away from justice, they will not even show up. Are you trying to bring
No, I'm not casting any insinuations at all. And I'm not intimating that that's him. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that if you want to rationalize a scenario of a man who knows that is being pursued by the security forces, and then he's using air tickets to confuse them. The self-same man who is trying to hide his itinerary from Yoko or whatever institution comes to Ghana through the Kotoka International Airport. Doesn't that sound absurd to you? Why would he do that?
Not wanting to stay too long on this, but do you disagree with a claim by the state, of course, represented by the Attorney General, which I mentioned even in my intro, that your client, Mr. Kwabena Adu-Boahene, transferred 49 cedis from the National Signals Bureau's account to a private BNC's account for onward payment, and I just mentioned earlier, to the Israeli company that NSB had a contract with, but only $1.7 million. That's approximately 9.5 cedis, I believe, at the rate of the time the calculation was done, and the rest used by your client and the second accused, which supposedly is his wife that you represent.
It's painful to come to terms with some of these things. I'll try to be factual, not to run commentary on the matters pending before God. Let me tell you something which is very absurd. Kwabena Adu-Boahene could not transfer money from the operational account of the national security into his private account. It was the national security coordinator who, in trying to do undercover operations, transferred the money and even gave the letter for the opening of the account so that they have the private BNC account. Today, as we are talking, we might have heard President Mahama say that now they have security, gadgets to track people, who do all kinds of things.
The IPS of individuals, yes.
That's the cyber security equipment, which is right with this national security, and they are using it.
What has that got to do with the accusations against your client?
That means he's bankrupt. The very machine that they said the man never brought into the realm is here. They are using it. And then we have concrete evidence from the Israeli company that there's even a service contract that they are continuing to service the machine.
But I think the allegation is centered on the fact that you talked about 49 million Ghana cedis and you transferred 1.7.
They are second guessing what the national security did. The national security did what they were supposed to do. So the national security could even commandeer $1 million into an account, and they decide how they spend it.
You talked about the fact that the National Signals Bureau wanted to have this as a covert operation. Sending money directly to an Israeli cybersecurity company, does it reveal anything that's what you are looking for?
They call it decoys, madam, if you understand decoy. So people will think that, oh, this is an ordinary importation, but not knowing that it's a national importation. So sometimes they can use decoys to take attention from, what is normal, but there's an undercover understanding. So we shouldn't sit down here and say that this is how we would have done it. We have never been in that space. And we don't understand what informed the decision for Treme to open that account.
Ms. Atta Akyea, would you say that you and your client will be able to account for the 39 million Ghana cedis that the Attorney General is alleging was transferred into private accounts used for private purposes? Are you able to account for that before the court?
I could tell you that everything can be accounted for, to the shock of most Ghanaians. But you know what? These are national security expenditures, and in good time, we'll see how it will be accounted for.
Are you going to account for it?
Why not? And let me tell you that who is this national security operative, capo, who wants to steal money via a bank? Let's get some common sense. Who is that? Who's going to do that? That today, national security man says that, look, I want to steal money, but the money I'll steal it from a bank. How can we do that?
Your client is being tried
Yes.
for his operations within a particular period of time.
Yes.
Why did you find it necessary to ask the court to compel whichever institution, i.e. the national security, to reveal its transactional details from 1992 to date?
To expose the bankruptcy of understanding of those who are prosecuting him. Because there's a pattern of national security, so that people will see that, oh, this is what they do.
And
you go back and find out that the national security has been using all manner of means in the operation. So that this is not new. That's what we were trying to do. And unfortunately, the judge blocked it.
You've admitted in this interview that the national security wants to use decoys in its operations. If indeed that is the case, then there was no point asking for the national security to review its transactional financial activities when you know that that is also supposed to be protected.
But they don't want to protect that. They know that they should go and do indoor investigations because it's national security. They should, even if they have dirty linen, they don't watch it in public. So if the man stands and the wife, they stand on the verge of going to jail, that every arsenal they have, even if it means that, oh, let's go and resurrect Kojo Chikata of old to come and explain that what you are trying to do is so mundane. And by operations of the national security, there's nothing criminal about it. You use every arsenal we have to expose the innocence of our client.
But that is exposing the national security apparatus. You're protecting your client to the detriment of the country's national security.
I think this should be addressed to the Attorney General, who thought that you should go to the press and blow national security
But you
matters.
asked for the document from the national security.
When they have a noose around our neck, and we have exculpatory evidence that will show the innocence of our client, and we stay aloof, so that if they don't respect national security, where do we stand?
And it is based on that same exculpatory evidence that the Attorney General or the court rejected it. And I know you're appealing that.
We have appealed it.
You have appealed it, which is why you're asking the court to halt proceedings until you have the result of the appeals court. But the fact that the Attorney General or the state feels that you want evidence from me to exonerate your client, I won't give you. Shouldn't that tell you that perhaps you're not asking for what you need to ask for?
Madam, it's not that Kwabena Adu-Boahene and Angela is asking for too much. The law says so. Article 19 talks about exculpatory evidence, that a man should be given the facilities for him to defend himself. And if we have anything in the hand of the prosecutor or agencies under the state, they should surrender those things so that an innocent person will go to jail. So exculpatory evidence is not the invention of Kwabena Adu-Boahene. It's in the law.
What will you do if on the 17th of October the court rules against what you have, requested for?
Ma'am, I advise myself. I wouldn't want to second guess what the judge would do because that's not the professional thing to do. But at every turn, I will advise myself in accordance with the law. That's what I'm going to do.
The Attorney General, Justice Ramsay, has accused you of, and I'm quoting him here, throwing the matters in the case to the media and putting pressure on the case. How do you respond to that?
You see, there is a very unfortunate situation we find ourselves in, that if they could get hirelings, and if we are following the media space, to even throw dirt on Kwabena Adu-Boahene that this guy is in the car stealing business. This guy is even been hiring nude dancers and all kinds of crazy things they are trying to put in the public space. That should go. Honorable Sremsai has not had, if you like, the moral courage to say that. Why are you besmearing a man when we are trying him? It doesn't minister to him at all. And therefore, we are the dummies. We should keep quiet when they are throwing the feces at us. We shouldn't say anything. Why should we permit that?
Is there an indirect way from your side of courting courting public opinion instead of following through with the court based on the allegation of the Attorney General against you?
I didn't see even the basis of the allegation of the Attorney General. How can I bring any pressure to bear on the judge? How am I going to do it? Understand? If anybody is press shy, they started it. Madam, I've told you something. Joe Randolph has been an Attorney General before. Nana Jogate, Ayuko Otu. I've never seen an Attorney General who believes that theatrics is equal to competence. If you are strong in the law, you go to the law court. You don't try to entertain the press. But when they say bring the proof, can you imagine that somebody says there is an account, the private B&C account, the proceeds of the so-called crime, and they used the money to purchase property in the United Kingdom. Now the man says that, can you make disclosures as to who the vendor of the property in the UK is? How much did it cost? And when was it bought by Adu-Boahene? Can we see the nexus between the private B&C account, the receptacle of the crime, and the acquisition of the property? And the Attorney General is running away from it.
The state is claiming that it has all the documents for this prosecution.
Oh my God and King. There's even embarrassment concerning, documents that they will take part of the document away. The B&C, private B&C account, missing pages in the account. And the man you want to jail says that, look, why are you trying to hide the evidence? Can I have the evidence for me to prove my innocence? And no. And that's why we are in the Court of Appeal and we're going to pursue it.
You claim that the Attorney General has been using theatrics and, of course, the media to disseminate information about somebody who is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. How are you picking this up with the AG that, per your claim, what he's doing is wrong? He's prosecuting your client in the court of public opinion.
We're very nervous about engagements with Attorney General. Although both Attorney Generals, the Attorney General substantive and the deputy, they are all my juniors at the bar. I look petite, but I'm not young at the bar. We are good friends. The genuine reason why we can't, cross-fertilize is the interpretations. That people go and say, oh, look at Atta is trying to influence the Attorney General when the case is pending. But for that, they are aware. And they are both professionals.
But if you claim that he's prosecuting your client, you should pick it up.
Well, I know what to do. And some people who are now talking about this case in the public space, they want to besmear Adu-Boahene and the wife and people with the towels around their bodies that nearly fell and all the kind of thing they are spewing. I know what to do.
So you are threatening to sue those who are perhaps also having prejudicial comments about the case?
I'll deal with them in accordance with law. It's not a threat.
Sue them.
I'll deal with them seriously.
What does dealing with them mean?
It means that I'm going to use the law against them so they shut their mouth, so that they won't use the media space to pronounce a man guilty before the court does its work. It's an aberration. We should stop.
When do you intend to do that?
Very soon.
The Attorney General, as in the Deputy AG, is also asking for speedy trial and daily hearings. What do you think about that?
Madam, I've never seen anything as cruel as that request. That he wants a day-to-day hearing of the case when the ammunition of the accused persons are denied them. The exculpatory evidence. The evidence that said, look, if you brought me this evidence, I'll shoot down your case. And if the case is not shut down, when you do a submission of no case and say you have a case to answer, you put together a credible defense. How can you disarm a man or the evidence is going to use in the case and say that, oh, I will do the case day to day. I'll finish the case and block the evidence.
You call that cruel?
Oh, it's horrendous. I've never seen anything which is an aberration more than this.
But I thought the desire of every lawyer was to ensure that the case of his clients run very speedily.
You see, when it comes to criminal justice, you understand, Article 19 is very concrete and sure that give the accused persons the facilities. And what are the facilities? Exculpatory evidence. It's been interpreted in the Bafuboni case, and if there's a practice direction to that effect. So let me tell you why I thought this is very cruel. If you said, I will not give you the exculpatory evidence, nevertheless, I'll go ahead and do a day-to-day trial, so I send you to jail. Do you know what you are doing? You are subverting the cause of justice. You are doing evidence gagging. You are hiding what will aid the accused person. And that's not law. That's a slaughterhouse. If you went ahead and you said, okay, I have good things about it. Today, I'm telling you that we have it as evidence that the so-called cybersecurity gadget, even the president referenced it in terms of the
IPS of individuals.
Yes, it's sitting there. And then in your charge sheet, you say that it was never supplied. What are you doing as an attorney general? You know it's been supplied. Do you want to falsify evidence against an innocent man so he goes to jail? Is that justice?
That might be one part of it. The other part is what I mentioned to you earlier, which you're aware of, about the amount of money that was transferred to a supposed private account and how you intend to account for it.
My sister, Kwabena Adu-Boahene is not a novice. In the national security space, he's one of the seasoned men, and he will not steal via a bank account. That's how juvenile the scenario is. Why would he do that? And everything national security is doing, when you get into the proper space, it will show. It should be Kan-Dapaah telling the whole world that when I was a national minister, Kwabena Adu-Boahene cleverly opened a private account and stole money, and he used the monies for his private purposes. Now they say, you are alleging that he used the money for a private purpose. Can we have evidence how he took money from the private BNC account and bought a house in London? They don't have it.
If I'm taking what you're saying for it, then it means that indirectly, the Attorney General may be considering Kan-Dapaah as a complicit, because it was in conjunction with the National Security Council.
It's his decision to do what he wants to do. But I'm saying that I do not see how anybody can separate Kan-Dapaah from what is going on. Because you see, the so-called shenanigans, was done under Kan-Dapaah when he was the Minister for National Security. So it is Kan-Dapaah who should say that, look, on my blind side, a private account was opened and somebody siphoned money from it. Not that, what is going on via Yoko.
I want to find out from you, the court is currently on legal vacation, right?
That is so.
And your appeal has not even been looked at yet.
Yes, please.
So what do you expect from the appeal, and indeed which would have rippling effects one way or the other on that substantive case, which is expected on the 17th of October?
I'm so glad you are so intelligent. You're talking like a lawyer. You see what is happening? We filed a motion for stay of proceedings pending appeal. What is appeal about? We have been deprived of exculpatory evidence. We've been stripped of the weapons of our warfare. And therefore, we don't see how this trial should continue. So the judge should stay proceedings. And let's see what the three wise men will say before we continue. And that is what a judge will look at. That given all that there is, people have been stripped of what they would need to defend themselves. You want to continue nevertheless? You deny a man his evidence which shows his innocence. What are you trying to do?
I want to move on. Do you have any final word on this? Because I want to move to the NPP.
I have to tell you the truth, that if the Attorney General believes he has an iron cast case, as he told the press, then why is he running away from bringing to us the exculpatory evidence?
It already said that it has the documents. I believe it wants to give it to the court.
But the court will not have any need of the documents. We will have to use the documents to shoot down and contradict the prosecution case, and also to strengthen our case if we should come to that.
Is that your final word on the Adu-Boahene
Yes.
case?